So he lowered his balloon down and called out, "Excuse me, sir, do you know where I am?" The man looks up. "You're in a hot air balloon about 30 feet above the ground." The hot air balloonist looks down and says, "Sir, you must be an engineer. Everything you told me is correct, but it has helped me in no way." The engineer confirms the fact, looks up and says, "You must be a manager. Somehow, you don't know where you are, you don't know where you're going, and your situation has remained the same since meeting me, but now it's my fault, and you expect me to fix it." Sometimes leadership gets a bad rap. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, our honored guest, and any leader, past, present, or not yet realized, we have a great opportunity in Toastmasters to learn about our leadership and our leadership styles through practice and by doing. In the Pathways program, there's an assessment we get to take, a leadership style assessment. And after answering a bunch of questions, they spit out the results. I was excited. I love assessments. I jumped in, answered all the questions. I was thrilled. What leadership style did I have? And more importantly, I thought, do I have the right style, the best style to be the best leader? Because I thought there was only one that was the best. Well, I got my results back. I started off top level, democratic, 21 points. Next, I had coaching, 20 points. Next, I had altruistic, 20 points. Next, I had affiliative, 19 points. And innovative, 18 points. And then a few others finally dropped down more towards the bottom. I thought, well, these are horrible results. They're all the same. I just equalized everything. Had an opportunity, I was talking with our good Toastmaster, Don. And I said, "Don, I took the test, I know you took it. I didn't get good results, they're all the same." And he said, "John, you might look at that as a weakness, but I could see it as a strength. You have multiple capabilities to do multiple different styles of leadership." And I thought, what a great understanding. Realizing that some of our strengths might actually, some of our weaknesses might actually be our strengths. And they don't have to be one or the other. In learning more about my leadership styles, I've realized that in some situations, my leadership style will be a strength. And in other situations, I need to recognize where it'll be a weakness. As I look through the different styles, democratic is the leadership style of working together in a team. The opportunity to come together, to find the best idea out of the collective group. I realized I do love that. I love finding a solution, finding a great talent because you have a collective pool. A funny story that shows my excitement. When I got married, we had a wedding outdoors and we had a food truck come in. That doesn't sound very fancy, but it was. We had Fuddruckers cater our wedding. They brought in a big trailer, a big truck, pulled it into the driveway there at the ranch. We were excited. Well, I found out later that they couldn't get their truck out of there. They were trying, the guy was backing up, he was getting into the bush, he couldn't get the thing out. Well, a friend of mine who works on a farm, a ranch, he drives tractors and everything else, he goes, "I can do it." Gets in that truck, he was out of there in 5 seconds. Amazing. And I love that. It was the collective group that had the talents and the abilities to achieve and solve the problem that was presented to them. And I love working in a group to find that person that has that selected talent. Now, what are the weaknesses of my strongest leadership style, democratic? Well, in a group where you're looking for answers and looking for solutions, you need a group that has that knowledge to be able to identify those solutions. And in a group that's maybe new or maybe doesn't have those answers, that's going to be hard when you look and say, "Hey, what do we do?" And everyone says, I have no idea. That has also been a reality for me. In my opportunity as area director, I went looking around or visiting different groups. And during that process, became connected to many groups that were very experienced and other groups that weren't so experienced. And looking back, I realized why I struggled helping some of the groups that were less experienced. One group struggled in giving speeches, struggled doing all counter. They were worried about giving too much feedback or being critical of other Toastmasters. Well, I said, let's do this. We need to give speeches. Come on now, people. That didn't work so well for them. I said, how can we get more speeches? They didn't really know. They were struggling because they hadn't experienced the opportunity of having strong speeches. And in another club, you could probably say, how can we do this? They could brainstorm. And this group of individuals hadn't seen a lot of that. And so they would require a little bit different of a leadership style to then give the information and not just try and cultivate it from the group. All of these leadership styles are unique in their own different strengths and their weaknesses. By looking at them and identifying how I can excel in them, and recognizing that they may not all be weaknesses, I can find a better way to help the different groups that I interact with. And the great thing about Toastmasters is that we learn by doing. It's one of the reasons that I became a leader in Toastmasters, was so that I could learn and practice these leadership styles. We have this opportunity in Toastmasters. I hope each of us take advantage of it. Like the balloonist and the man on the ground, sometimes we do need to keep our feet on the ground and be very logical and straightforward. Other times, we do need to have our head in the clouds in order to see the silver lining and look for all the positive and optimistic things we can find. I challenge you to find ways about your own leadership style that you can apply to learn by doing. Mr. Toastmaster.